We're on. Good evening. How are we all this evening? Welcome to the second of the the quarantine sessions. I've decided, whether it's in good taste or not, I'm going to call them the quarantine sessions. Yes, as with the last one, this is a chance for us to get together and provide a space to escape the chaos of the outside world as it stands at the moment. So, I've got a vague programme for this evening. There was a vote for hammy dramatic readings, so I will start with a couple of I was going to say nice ones, let's say serious ones, because my first choice is not the nicest of options, but I quite like it. And then we can get silly afterwards. I have a couple of vaguely amusing ones in mind. This I will mention this. I think the event might have ended now, but this is just to reiterate that today Bandcamp, who, if you don't know Bandcamp, they are a website where a lot of musicians host their music for sale. They have been doing a I don't know if a sale is the right word, but for today they've not been taking any commission on any music that's sold on their website today. So if you were hoping to support some independent musicians whose living has been made more challenging by this global pandemic, then today is probably a good day to do so. To be fair, Bandcamp are pretty good guys anyway. They only take I think I'm pretty sure it's 15% commission when you make a sale, so most of it goes to the artist anyway, but today they're taking no commission at all. As I mentioned earlier in my earlier post, this isn't about me. I'm okay. I have my day job, touch wood. The upsides to not being particularly successful at music is that it's not for my benefit, but there are a lot of independent musicians out there whose livelihood has been rapidly disrupted, and I know they're not alone. A lot of other people have, are watching their own lives being turned upside down. But it's, it's helping with what little where we can, I guess. Anyway, I will commence the dramatic readings. I will start with one by Ted Hughes, who may be a name familiar to anyone who's a similar age to me or the same generation and grew up in Britain, because a large swathe of us were made to study a selection of his poems for GCSE English when we would have been 14, 15, 16, his the stuff they gave us to look at and analyze was fine, but what I later discovered is that they must have picked some of his, shall we say, cleaner work, because I didn't even chance across this. A friend of mine chanced across this collection. Let's see if you can read that. No, there's not enough light. This collection is called Crow, from the Life and Songs of the Crow, which a friend of mine stumbled across and bought for me. Thank you, Fran, for picking that up years ago. If you're used to the Ted Hughes stuff that you would have studied for the GCSE English exams, then this is quite an eye-opener. It's quite a contrast to what you might be used to, but then they definitely couldn't have printed this in a GCSE anthology. So this one is called Examination at the Womb Door. It's cheerful stuff. Who owns these scrawny little feet? Death. Who owns this bristly, scorched-looking face? Death. Who owns these still-working lungs? Death. Who owns this utility coat of muscles? Death. Who owns these unspeakable guts? Death. Who owns these questionable brains? Death. All this messy blood? Death. These minimum efficiency eyes? Death. This wicked little tongue? Death. This occasional wakefulness? Death. Given, stolen or held pending trial? Held. Who owns the whole rainy, stony earth? Death. Who owns all of this space? Death. Who is stronger than hope? Death. Who is stronger than the will? Death. Stronger than love? Death. Stronger than life? Death. But who is stronger than death? Me, evidently. Pass, Crow. Right. Second one on the programme for tonight was suggested by Michelle. Thanks for your suggestion. This is one I must admit I was oblivious to Robert Frost previously. This is one called Birches. Before I start this, I will just say if there's anything you'd like me to read, and I don't just mean, proper grown-up poetry, if there's anything stupid or ridiculous you would like me to read, because the next two I have in mind are stupid and ridiculous, I have to stress. So any suggestions, gladly welcome to pop them in the comments. As long as I can find them online, I can have a bash at reading them this evening. If if it is truly beyond the pale, I will let you know. But here we go. This is Birches by Robert Frost. I need some more beer, excuse me. Birches by Robert Frost. When I see birches bend to left and right, across the lines of straighter, darker trees, I like to think some boy's been swinging them. But swinging doesn't bend them down to stay, as ice storms do. Often you must have seen them, loaded with ice, a sunny winter morning. After a rain, they click upon themselves. As the breeze rises and turn many-coloured, as the stir cracks and crazes their enamel. Soon the sun's warmth makes them shed crystal shells, shattering and avalanching on the snow crust. Such heaps of broken glass to sweep away, you'd think the inner dome of heaven had fallen. They are dragged to the withered bracken by the load, and they seem not to break, though once they abode, so low for long they never right themselves. You may see their trunks arching in the woods, years afterwards trailing their leaves on the ground, like girls on hands and knees that throw their hair before them over their heads to dry in the sun. But I was going to say, when truth broke in, with all her matter-of-fact about the ice storm, I should prefer to have some boy bend them as he went out and in to fetch the cows. Some boy too far from town to learn baseball, whose only play was what he found himself, summer or winter, and could play alone. One by one he subdued his father's trees, by riding them down over and over again, until he took the stiffness out of them. And not one but hung limp, not one was left for him to conquer. He learned all there was to learn about not launching out too soon, and so not carrying the tree away clear to the ground. He always kept his poise. To the top branches climbing carefully, with the same pains you use to fill a cup, up to the brim, and even above the brim. Then he flung outward, feet first with a swish, kicking his way down through the air to the ground. So was I once myself a swinger of birches. and so I dream of going back to be. It's when I'm weary of considerations, and life is too much like a pathless wood, where your face burns and tickles with the cobwebs, broken across it, and one eye is weeping. From a twig's having lashed across it open, I'd like to get away from earth for a while, and then come back to it and begin over. May no fate wilfully misunderstand me, and half grant what I wish and snatch me away. Not return. Earth's the right place for love. I don't know where it's likely to go better. I'd like to go by climbing a birch tree, and climb black branches up a snow-white trunk, toward heaven, till the tree could bear no more, but dipped its top and set me down again. That would be good both going and coming back. One could do worse than be a swinger of birches. Thank you again, Michelle, for that suggestion. That was nice, that. As I say, not come across Robert Frost before. Yeah, nice to read something new. If you just caught the tail end of that, that was Birches by Robert Frost. I will, unless anyone's... no suggestions so far. Unless anyone's got anything to suggest, I will press on and dial up the hamminess with... let's do the song lyric first. So this one, the song is called Life by an artist called Desiree, and it's one of those ones that tends to crop up in the sort of top 10, top 20 lists of daftest pop lyrics that ever cropped up, which is one of the reasons why I've chosen to read it. And it's got a certain place in my own heart because I can remember this song being on the radio in the late 90s, I think. I should have checked this beforehand. I think the late 90s. This being on the radio quite a lot, and listening to the lyric and thinking, really, you've got to be joking. So it was nice that years later other people remembered these ridiculous lyrics, and I felt vindicated. Yes, meant with no malice. It's just good for a laugh. Here we go. Life by Desiree. I'm afraid of the dark, especially when I'm in a park, and there's no one else around. Ooh, I get the shivers. I don't want to see a ghost. It is the sight I fear the most. I'd rather have a piece of toast and watch the evening news. Life, oh life, oh life, oh life, do. Life, oh life, oh life, oh life, do. I'm a superstitious girl. I am the worst in the world. Never walk under ladders. I keep a rabbit's tail. I'll take you up on a dare. Anytime, anywhere. Name the place, I'll be there. Bungee jumping, I don't care. Life, oh life, oh life, oh life, do. Life, oh life, oh life, oh life, do. Life, do. So, after all is said and done, I know I am not the only one. Life indeed can be fun, if you really want to. Sometimes living out your dreams ain't as easy as it seems. You want to fly around the world in a beautiful balloon. Life, oh life, oh life, oh life, do. Life, oh life, Oh, life! Oh, life! Do, do. Life! And it kind of goes on like that until it fades, so I'll end it there and spare you the misery. That was Life by Des'ree. I don't know how many of you will remember that one, but yeah. Okay. I only had one more on the program, by the way, which is an Amazon customer review. Sorry, if we've got time, I might try another one, which is even more ridiculous. See if I can find it. But yes, again, if there's anything you would like me to read, pop it in the comments. I am also interested to hear whatever you might want for the next live session. Can I read that? Would that be awful? Sorry, you have no idea what's on my screen. Yeah, we'll see how it goes. Yeah, if there's anything you'd particularly like for the next session, which will be Monday at the same time, 9 p.m, let me know. Comment box below this, somewhere down there. Put in your preferences. Usual plan is to play some music for you. I can do more of this if there's anything you'd like to hear, or I can take general Q&A conversation. Be that whatever you'd like to know about the Elephant Collective upcoming project, or whether you'd like to know the answer to various philosophical conundrums. I'll do my best. Or if there's anything else you can think of which I haven't thought of, I'm happy to take suggestions. I hate to use the phrase "there's no such thing as a stupid question," but let's paraphrase that and say there's no such thing as a stupid suggestion, because if it is stupid, I can just reject it out of hand. We'll see what proves popular and do that on Monday, in the hope of keeping us all sane as this goes on. One last thing. If you've enjoyed this evening's any of this evening's renditions, be they the more serious ones or the hammier and more ridiculous ones, and you would like somebody to do some talking over something for you, be that a voiceover or a reading of your novel or your own poetry or whatever, drop me a message. I am available for voiceovers. Right, that's the sales pitch out the way. Now for the Amazon review. Just a warning to put the kids to bed, because this does contain some bad language. This is a customer review from a chap called Andrew. This was posted on Amazon in reference to a hair removal cream for men made by Veet. This was a 5-star review which Andrew posted in 2012. The title is simply "Do Not Put on Knob and Bollocks." Being a loose cannon who does not play by the rules, the first thing I did was ignore the warning and smear this all over my knob and bollocks. The bollocks I knew and loved are gone now. In their place is a maroon-coloured bag of agony, which sends stabs of pain at my body every time it grazes against my thigh or an article of clothing. I am suffering so that you don't have to. Heed my lesson. Do not put on knob and bollocks. I am giving this product a 5 because despite the fact that I think my bollocks might fall off, they are now completely hairless. And that's it. It's a short one. I chose that one partly because it's slightly more believable than one of the other ones, but I couldn't keep a straight face while practicing the other one earlier. But we can try, because I was planning to do this for half an hour, and the longer readings did not take as long as I expected, so let's see if I can get through this one without cracking up. Even if this just seems ridiculous to you, I'm going to enjoy myself. Again, just in case there are any younger or more sensitive audiences listening, this one is even more risque than the one I've just read, so you've been warned. Same product. The title is just Feed for Men. This is going to be fun. After having been told my danglies looked like an elderly Rastafarian, I decided to take the plunge and buy some of this, as previous shaving attempts had only been mildly successful, and I nearly put my back out trying to reach the more difficult bits. Being a bit of a romantic, I thought I would do the deed on the missus's birthday, as a bit of a treat. I ordered it well in advance, and working in the North Sea, I considered myself a bit above some of the characters writing the previous reviews, and wrote them off as soft office types. Oh, my fellow sufferers, how wrong I was. Excuse me. I waited until the other half was tucked up in bed, and after giving some vague hints about a special surprise, I went down to the bathroom. Initially, all went well, and I applied the gel and stood waiting for something to happen. I didn't have long to wait. At first, there was a gentle warmth, which in a matter of seconds was replaced by an intense burning, and a feeling I can only describe as like being given a barbed wire wedgie by two people intent on hitting the ceiling with my head. Religion hadn't featured much in my life until that night, but I suddenly became willing to convert to any religion to stop the violent burning around the turd tunnel and what seemed like the destruction of the meat and 2 veg. Struggling not to bite through my bottom lip, I tried to wash the gel off in the sink, and only succeeded in blocking the plug hole with a mat of hair. Through the haze of tears, I struggled out of the bathroom, across the hall, into the kitchen. By this time, walking was not really possible, and I crawled the final yard to the fridge in the hope of some form of cold relief. I yanked the freezer drawer out and found a tub of ice cream, tore the lid off, and positioned it under me. The relief was fantastic, but only temporary, as it melted fairly quickly and the fiery stabbing returned. Due to the shape of the ice cream tub, I hadn't managed to give the starfish any treatment, and I groped around in the drawer for something else, as I was sure my vision was going to fail fairly soon. I grabbed a bag of what I later found out was frozen sprouts, and tore it open, trying to be quiet as I did so. I took a handful of them, and tried in vain to clench some between the cheeks of my arse. This was not doing the trick, as some of the gel had found its way up the chutney tunnel, and it felt like the space shuttle was running its engines behind me. The only solution my pain-crazed mind could come up with was to gently ease one of the sprouts where no veg had gone before. I told you this would be a challenge. Unfortunately, alerted by the strange grunts coming from the kitchen, the other half chose that moment to come and investigate. Ah, dear. You come here for serious and serious and grown-up content, and you get this. And was greeted by the sight of me, arse in the air, strawberry ice cream. Oh no, I can't. I'm sorry, I'm going to have to post a link to this one in the comments because I don't think I'm going to be able to read this without... I'm not actually going to make it to the end. It's defeated me once again. I tried, but this is just going to be me devolving into laughter for the next 5 minutes if I don't give up now. Yeah. I will not attempt that one again this evening. Maybe another night. If you find anything else like that which you'd like me to read at a subsequent Hammy Readings session, then please feel free to suggest it, and I can give it a bash. Preferably one that's going to be slightly less ridiculous than that one. Anyway, if there are no other suggestions for further material to read, then I will probably close down and call it a night. Yeah, last chance to make your suggestions. Otherwise, please drop a comment here or drop me a message or anything for anything else. For next Monday's session, if you want music, more readings, general nattering, or anything else that might spring to your mind, make your suggestions, and I will look forward to seeing you on Monday. I hope you all have a very pleasant weekend, and I will look forward to seeing you at the beginning of next week. Cheerio.